Golden Boy Promotions is on the road in the desert heat. It's about 114 today. Sun is setting, and the action's still going to stay on fire inside the ring. There you see pro debut Cesar Diaz from Palmdale, Rashidi Ellis from Boston. Our main event, Boricua Jason Velez against Nicaragua's Rene Alvarado. That's coming up next on Ring TV Live. About 2 hours east of downtown Los Angeles is the beautiful Coachella Valley, home to world-class golf, and that's the Eagles Falls course right next to Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. A very tough course where yesterday Oscar De La Hoya and Sugar Ray Leonard were playing. The sun is setting in Indio, getting ready for another edition of Golden Boy Boxing on Ring TV Live. Thank you for joining us tonight on the 15th of July. The crowd is milling around, getting ready for more action coming up right now. And alongside the editor of ringtv.com, Doug Fisher, and longtime boxing scribe from UCN Live and BoxingScene.com, Steve Kim, and the host of not one, but two podcasts, I'm Beto Duran. Thank you for joining us tonight. And our main event, Doug, is two fighters that it's a crossroads fight. Boricua, Jason Velez, coming off 2 losses, and then Gemelo, Rene Alvarado from Nicaragua, who has 7 losses in his career.
Yeah, you said it right. It's a crossroads match. We're talking about 2 young but battle-tested fringe contenders, guys who have either been to the big dance like Jason Velez. He just fell short in a featherweight title challenge. Here he is swapping leather with Joseph Diaz Jr. He was game. He was competitive in that fight, but he came up short. He doesn't want to be viewed as a stepping stone for more Joseph Diaz Jr.'s. He wants to get back into title contention. In order to become a top 10 contender, he's got to beat Rene Alvarado tonight, Steve.
And we take a look at Rene Alvarado. This is last summer at the Los Angeles Sports Arena, a hot, humid night. He gave him 10 rounds of good work, but eventually dropped a decision. And guys, he has lost 3 out of his last 4, but this hard-nosed Nicaraguan is also a hard, tough out, losing to the likes of Tino Avila and Andrew Cancio. I'm not so sure if this is necessarily a must-win situation for either guy, but Doug, I think it certainly would be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, in the court of public opinion, if whoever loses here, he's going to be viewed as a gatekeeper, whether the fighter likes it or not.
And both these fighters have gone up against 2012 Olympian and undefeated hot prospect Joseph Jojo Diaz Jr., who's a 4th member of our crew. Jojo will be giving us analysis throughout the night as we work towards the main event. And Jojo, you know these 2 fighters very well. What do you expect to see tonight when these 2 warriors go at it?
You know what? I'm expecting a war. Jason Velez and Rene Alvarado are both tremendous fighters. I was able to share the ring with both fighters, and I know that they come to win. These guys are very tough fighters, and I know that it's going to be a war because it's a must-win for both of these fighters, because the winner, I know that, is going to be on to bigger, better things. So it's going to be a very tough fight, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Jojo will have analysis throughout the night, but right now, making his way to the Ring TV Live cameras yesterday was 18-year-old standout amateur and now professional, making his pro debut, Cesar Diaz from Palmdale, California, and he has an interesting background.
In my amateur career, I did a little over 108 fights. You know, I won a lot of tournaments, and I beat a lot of great fighters. I beat 2 of the fighters that are going to the Olympics right now, and you know, I did my part, and now it's time for me to turn pro. So making the jump from amateur to professional, you know, I feel like I have to work on setting down my punches and not using my punches too much on speed, but more setting them down into power punches, and that's the way to go. When I heard that I was going to make my pro debut as a TV opener, you know, it motivated me more, and you know, I was excited. I'm so excited right now. I just want to show everyone what I got. As a professional fighter, I would want to make my career big, you know, into a world champion. So a lot of people say that I fight like Eric Morales, you know, in his prime time. And, you know, I see myself like that too. The way that he's a brawler, he likes to brawl, and then at the same time he likes to counter you, and that's the style I like too. Fans could expect explosiveness, you know, speed, power,
And there he is, wearing that Reds hat. No, it's not for Cincinnati, it's for Cesar. 18-year-old Cesar Diaz, Palmdale, California, ready to make his ring walk for the first time as a professional. He's fought in this building before, the Desert Showdown, the different amateur competitions, but there you see him making the ring walk. Cesar Omar Diaz from Palmdale, California. Mom and dad are from Jalisco, Mexico, but he was born in Aguascalientes, Mexico, 18-year-old. He turns 19 tomorrow.
Hey, I'm looking forward to watching this guy fight. I expected to see him fight, actually make his pro debut on the Vargas Salido undercard. He made it all the way to the weigh-in, and then his opponent came in way too heavy. That fight got scratched.
But he did have a photo shoot that day. He was able to take advantage of him.
Yeah, I was about ready to interview him for Ring TV Live at the weigh-in. All I can say is, hey, your fight just got scratched. Better luck next time, kid.
And there's his opponent, Isau Primo Dueñez, Houston, Texas, where he trains, but he lives in Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico. As Vicente Fernandez is blaring all over the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. We'll be going to the ring announcer Joe Martinez in a moment. This is the first fight coming your way. After this, Rashidi Ellis, Luis Hernandez, Lynn, Massachusetts against Bayamon, and another Boricua, Jason Velez, and Rene Alvarado is our main event. And you see the Diaz brothers, Joel and Antonio, in his corner. Joel Diaz actually manages Cesar Diaz. No relation, but they know him very well. Diaz trainer is Sam Contreras. We'll get more into the background he has with the Diaz. They know each other very well. Over 100 amateur fights. Diaz beat a lot of the U.S. Olympians, but because he was born in Mexico, could not qualify for any international thing for the United States, so he didn't want to go fight for Team Mexico because he considers himself more of an American. And we'll get more into that details. Here's Joe Martinez.
Por 4 asaltos en el peso super gallo. And here we go, fight fans. 4 rounds of action this scheduled in the super bantamweight division. Los tres jueces por ese combate, the 3 judges scoring this bout at ringside, Ray Corona, Eddie Hernandez, and Fritz Werner. And when the action begins inside the ring, your referee in charge, encargado de ring, el referee David Mendoza. Presentado primero en la esquina azul, con los pantaloncillos plateado con blanco y un peso de 125 libras y un cuarto. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing silver, trimmed in white, he weighed officially 125 1/4 pounds. Tonight, he enters the ring for the 7th time as a professional, un veterano de 6 peleas de Monterrey, México, presentando Isau Primo Dueñez. Y su oponente en la esquina roja, con los pantaloncillos rojo con blanco y un peso de 120 libras y medias. His opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wears red with white and weighed at officially 120 1/2 pounds. Esta noche él está haciendo su debut profesional tonight, making his professional debut, and hailing from Palmdale, California, here is Cesar Omar Diaz.
Come on up here. Come on up here. Gentlemen, we've gone over the rules and fouls. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. All right, touch gloves. Return to your corner.
David Mendoza, the 3rd man in the ring tonight. The tail of the tape, Doug.
Wow, Cesar Diaz, 7 years younger, really more like 6 years younger at age 18. He turns 19 tomorrow. He is much taller, and he has the advantage in reach.
Just cool to say, though, he's only 18 making his pro debut. There you go. 19, by that time you're old. He has a cheering section. There you see him in the red shirts on top of your screen. Cesar Diaz in the white and red trunks. It says Omar across his belt. That is his middle name. Over 100 amateur fights. At one point, there was a 3-year stretch where he did not lose a tournament. Good right hand from Cesar Diaz immediately opens up the eyes of Isau Dueñez, a rugged 1-5. Body work from Diaz. Diaz went to Knight High School in Palmdale, California. Palmdale, about an hour and a half north of downtown Los Angeles. Trains with Sam Contreras. They met at the age of 11. Contreras was training his own son. Saw Diaz at the gym, said, I'm gonna keep an eye on this kid. He has something about him. Ran into him 2 years later. Diaz by that time was training somewhere else. They hooked up at the age of 13. They haven't looked back since. And they've been working out. Contreras has a gym that he built in his backyard. Weights, a setup. They finally got somewhere there, but they go all over Southern California for sparring because there's not much sparring in Palmdale, and that's how they met the Diaz brothers. He has sparred Diego De La Hoya. That opened up the eyes of Joel and said, you know what, this kid, as an amateur, is cracking with Diego a few months ago. I need to invest in him, and that's where he signed him as his fighter, and now Joel Diaz manages him.
And Beto, you talk about DUENEZ, 1-5 on the surface, not a very strong record, but it has to be noted, I think the combined record of those opponents is 15-0 and beyond that. All losses have been 4-round decisions, so it would not be a surprise if we saw some rounds tonight in the debut of Cesar Diaz.
And we love our social media here. You're watching this on ringtvlive.com. We'll use the hashtag ringtvlive. Ask us questions on Twitter during the fight tonight. We do check them all, especially the messages that get mad because Doug didn't answer their mailbag. Less than a minute to go in the opening round, scheduled for 4. Cesar Diaz in the white and red. Body work.
Oh, he hurt him.
That hurt DUENEZ.
Yeah, that right cross buzzed DUENEZ. Absolutely.
DUENEZ from Monterey said he loves the sport of boxing because he loves to get into fights. He started boxing at the age of 16. He said because he just wanted to fight more. Because he was fighting in the streets, and there he's getting worked in the body by the 18-year-old Cesar Diaz.
Yeah, DUENEZ is in a fight right now, but he's in there with a very skilled young boxer. I love the jab and the variation of jabs that you see from Diaz, and plus his 1-2 combination. It's very crisp.
Body work by Diaz. This kid does not look like he's making his pro debut at the age of 18. Final seconds of the opening round. Making his pro debut and fighting under the Golden Boy banner is Cesar Omar Diaz. Roberto Diaz, matchmaker for Golden Boy, no relation on the young 18-year-old.
Cesar was supposed to debut June 4th. Unfortunately, his opponent was very irresponsible, came in 9 pounds heavy. It was just that's the hardest thing, you know, to look at your guy or the opponent even and say, I'm sorry, I'm no worse for this, but it happens, especially in these fights, the pro debuts, the 4-rounders, not the most professional, and it was unfortunate it happened. I know he had a lot of fans and friends and family coming out to see him. So we're excited to have him, and hopefully makes the television cut right there, opening up, and you know, we get to see Cesar this time. Hopefully the opponent, we've been monitoring him, making sure there's no issues with weight, and we get to see him do his pro debut, and we're really excited to see him in the ring.
Second round of action, of course, the Golden Boy fighters are watching. Emilio Sanchez in the 818 watching the Pacuema. Came off a nice victory at the LA Fight Club. Thanks for watching, checking in, Emilio. 22-year-old undefeated prospect for Golden Boy. Right now in the second round, Cesar Diaz, white with red. Aguascalientes on the back of his trunks. That's where he was born. Good opening round for a fighter making his pro debut.
Yeah, Beto, you noted he doesn't look like he's making his pro debut. Looks like he's got some pro experience under his belt already, and it's because he does more than just jab and throw straight right hands. He's got beautiful body work and nice crisp hooks and crosses, and he puts the punches together very well.
Beto, Doug, I just love his stance. That's a classic, fundamentally sound boxing stance. Chin down, front shoulder angled, not giving a flat surface to hit. And you see the way he punches with his legs through his core. He gets a lot of leverage on those hooks. He just looks like a pro, much more seasoned than a pro debut, and he seems to fight with a lot of poise.
Good foundation. Like you said, his stance is very good, and it's the kind of stance and he has the kind of style that he's going to get the most out of his height and his reach advantages, because he is pretty tall for a junior featherweight / bantamweight.
And I tell you what, he is punching downhill right now. He's getting a lot of leverage and torque on both his right hand over the top and the left hooks.
Steve, you've heard the term Tijuana taxi cab driver?
Yeah, Greg Hagen taught us that. Way back in 1993, he said, Julio Cesar Chavez, he's 90-0, but he fought 85 Tijuana taxi cab drivers. One of the great quotes of recent boxing ilk.
Isau Dueñez is not a cab driver, he is a chauffeur. He drives a limo in Monterrey, that's what he does. And all of his fights have been in the United States, all in Texas. He comes to scrap. He said he's gonna be in there and he's gonna try to mix it up. I think he didn't expect this much from Cesar Diaz. Dueñez said that because he has experience, he felt that was gonna help him. But Diaz is just looking smooth in that ring in his second pro round.
Dueñez is trying. He's trying to punch back, but he just can't find range as of yet. He landed a few shots in the opening round. Hasn't had any luck in this second round.
Joel Diaz, who's managing Diaz and is in that corner, but he's not the one giving the main instructions, said that he saw with him that he has heart and potential. And Joel Diaz is not going to just take somebody into his jams. We talked about earlier with Marco and Diego and Jesse Magdaleno. You got to come in there for a reason.
Oh no, yeah, Joel Diaz hands out compliments like manhole covers. You don't hear that. That's a Steve Kim line, by the way. You don't hear him praise a lot of young up-and-comers unless they are really something special.
3 sisters, 1 brother does Diaz have. He's the second of the clan. Stiff jab, final seconds, good uppercut from the 18-year-old from Palmdale.
Hay que más golpes, más de 2, 3 golpes, okay? No me cierren los ojos. So you should have 3, 4 punches in the head, okay? Not only 2. You might get that jab, okay? Walk him down with you, keep it tight. But when you finish, the way you throw wrong, you gotta double your left hook. Hook to the head, hook to the body. You gotta double him. He's the fucking right to left foot body here, right foot body here. Come on, you walk him down straight off their combinations. You can't throw your punches and catch straight off.
Beautiful left hook connects for Diaz. Follows it up with a straight right, a left to the body, and that straight right back to the head. It's kind of a shotgun jab that he puts out there, at least from the distance. Follows it up with a short right cross to the temple. This young man has beautiful punch variation.
And I think they might be stopping this. David Mendoza was in the corner. Did he wave it off? It looked like he was going to wave it off, and he's asking Dueñez, do you want to continue? And we are going to continue. He put his hands up, but David Mendoza, the referee, is in there checking it. Va a seguir, vamos. All right, seguir, keep going. I said vamos just because, I don't know.
Diaz started to celebrate. He's got to get his game face back on. He thought it was over.
Well, let's see how he comes out and attacks this round. That means Dueñez in that corner. Mendoza saw something from the Mexican fighter.
Boy, you could just tell how much leverage Diaz gets on every punch. He really does look like a really finely tuned offensive machine early on.
Body work upstairs and a big, another big
that
shot
left to the body.
hurting.
I'm surprised Dueñez stayed standing, and kudos to Dueñez. He's come out firing, and he's landed some shots of his own.
Mendoza will be looking very closely.
Oh, that was a nice right to the solar plexus from Dueñez. Dueñez is, if he's going to go down, he's going to go down swinging, and I tip my cap to him.
Cajones coming in from Dueñez. Monterrey.
And what I like about Dueñez, when he does fire back, it's not just one shot at a time. He's putting his punches together. Just doesn't have the snap that Diaz has on his punches. Diaz delivers every shot with so much more leverage.
Diaz, as Avril Lavigne once sang, he was just a skater boy. That's what he was as an 8, 9-year-old kid, messing around the streets. The dad said, stop skating, get into the gym, go do something. He didn't want to play other sports. He said, what about boxing? And that's been ever since. Look at that skating coordination has helped him out because he is just
he's got good balance.
You know, that was a beautiful sequence right there. He dug to the body and he moved his head and he was able to slip a few punches.
2 punches.
Yeah, Diaz does a very nice job of staying disciplined, of punching and moving his head, and that's
David Mendoza steps in, protects the fighter in Dueñez. Cesar Diaz in his pro debut on the eve of his 19th birthday gets the 3rd round stoppage.
Good stoppage.
I think this was impressive given the fact that I know the record was 1-5, but the one thing about DUENEZ, he was durable. And Cesar Diaz, a day before his 19th birthday, becomes the first guy to stop this guy. And I thought DUENEZ was very game, and I thought the stoppage was very well timed.
Great point there, Steve. First time DUENEZ has been stopped in his career. He's, he's tougher than his record indicates.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and he can pull a Jake LaMotta and say, I never went down.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that veteran matchmakers will tell you is knowing how to read a box record or a boxing record. It's not just about the record, because we know if Cesar Diaz is a prized young recruit, they're not going to throw him in early. So you want to get him a victory, but you also want to get him the appropriate type of work. And I thought tonight, Doug, they really did that.
Yeah, and I think you can put a young man like Diaz in a little bit tougher than your average kid making his pro debut because of his amateur background, because of the fact that he was ranked number 3 in the country at featherweight as an amateur, and that he has over 100 amateur wins. And just from what Golden Boy gleans from the gym stories, from what they've heard, they can talk to Diego De La Hoya and say, can this kid fight or not? Diego's going to say yes. They can put him in tough.
18-year-old Cesar Diaz, Palmdale, Jalisco, Aguascalientes. Your kid is now 1-0. The sun is setting and Indio coming back with more. Watching Golden Boy live on Ring TV Live.
Los cinturones aquí se hacen a un lado. Hay que pelear por honor y por gloria nada más.
Liam's a talent, he'll fight anyone. And we're going to make a big fight for him in the autumn. I think it's the biggest name in that division, and I will make sure it happens. And I believe by the end of the year, he will be the best.
Still undefeated, relentless, Antonio
Body shots landed by Orozco, the 28-year-old. And Acosta just taking a deep breath. Dropped with the left by Orozco. And it is over. A first-round stoppage for Antonio. Relentless Orozco.
Jojo Diaz Jr.
Inside the Special Events Center at the Fancy Springs Resort and Casino, Beto Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim. Also Joseph Diaz around the ring. And our ring announcer, Joe Martinez.
5 segundos del tercero asalto de referee para la pelea para el ganador por knockout. The end comes officially 1 minute, 55 seconds. Round number 3, your winner by KO in his professional debut, Cesar Omar Diaz.
There it is. Turns 19 on Saturday, 1-0. Third round stoppage. Did not look like a kid making his pro debut.
The word that comes to mind, Beto, is command. He I thought, showed a professional poise, and what was really impressive is the way he was able to bend that front knee and get to the body. He looked like a 5-year pro doing that. Very, very advanced offensive skill set for Cesar Diaz.
Cesar Omar Diaz. In a Spanish interview, anybody can do the Spanish interviews.
Yeah.
English ones.
Okay.
That get you. Pressure over here on Ring TV Live.
Let's look at some highlights of young Cesar Diaz. Man, nice combinations, body and head.
What's impressive here, Doug, is a lot of young amateurs come into this sport and they throw a lot of punches, and it is quantity over quality. Look at the precision that he has and the accuracy, and he knows exactly where he's placing his punches, and he does a good job of moving his head after combinations, resetting himself, resetting the distance, and coming right back down to the body. I got to tell you, Cesar Diaz, every young prospect, I say, what do you want to see from them? And I always say at the end of the night, I want to see more.
Yes.
I want to see more of Cesar Diaz.
Yeah, likewise. Absolutely. I wonder if he can make 118 pounds. He weighed in at about 120 and a half. He's just 19 years old, or will be tomorrow. If he can make 118 and maintain that weight for a while, man, he will be a monster. People will compare him to Carlos Zarate.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get a lot of guys out of there.
And I think he's coming over here.
Oh, goody.
There you see David
We get to
Mendoza
talk to the
with
young man.
stoppage. As he's over there shaking hands with Joseph Diaz, you know.
Real recognizes real.
Anybody can go.
Congratulations.
You know, anybody can go say hi to Joseph Diaz. I mean, but you come and talk to Beth Duran and Doug Fisher.
Okay.
There we go. Congratulations, the 3rd round stoppage. First fight as a pro under your belt. How do you feel right now?
I feel good. I was motivated to fight, and you know we were ready. We did our work, and we're ready for whatever's next.
Did you do what you set out to do tonight? What was your game plan coming in, and what kind of performance did you want to give the people tonight?
My game plan to come out tonight was to pressure the fight, always stay on them, keep the jab on them, and that's what we came out to do.
You know what you did? You gave him pressure, but it's funny. We didn't really talk about the pressure because we were so taken aback by your punch precision, your combinations and all. But yeah, you were walking him down the entire fight, weren't you?
What's the biggest difference you felt from an amateur to tonight?
Well, throughout the amateurs, I always had that. People always used to tell me that I had that professional style.
Okay.
And well, it's a lot different. You don't use headgear no more. The gloves are a lot smaller.
You feel more stronger?
Yeah, a lot stronger, and you know it's a lot better. I like it. I had fun.
You feel you see things better without the headgear?
Yeah, you see a lot more things.
Did you? Doug and Steve were talking about this. Can you make 118?
You know what? We can make 118, and first we wanted to try 122, but now you know, now we're ready to. Yeah, I caught him with the right hand.
You buzzed him in that first round.
Yeah.
But you know what I like is you didn't go crazy. You saw that you hurt him, and you didn't throw caution
I
to the
always had
wind.
to keep him on the distance. I didn't want to get too smothered in with him.
Well, you've seen other guys make their pro debut, and you know, you see like in the Cesar when they come out and all of a sudden they're like Doug said, they get shot out of a rocket and they're just all over the place, and their corner has to tell them calm down. You get 3 minutes in the pros, right? Why were you so calm?
You know what? I had a really great corner. I had Joel Diaz, I had Antonio Diaz, and my trainer Samuel Contreras. And you know, with them I feel so comfortable and so calm. You know, we came out and we did our thing.
Palmdale, California. There's a camera right there, that little GoPro. Check it out. Send your shout outs. Go ahead, man.
Shout out to all my family, my friends that came out here to support me. And you know, we're ready for whatever's next. Keep supporting me, and I love my fans.
Palmdale, California. What's your Instagram?
What?
Your Instagram, what is it?
It's Cesar Omar 97.
Cesar Omar 97. I'm about to follow it. Get on it right there with me. He's now 1-0, 18-year-old, and happy birthday tomorrow, man.
Tomorrow's my birthday.
Ahorita te vamos a cantar las mañanitas like they would in Aguascalientes where he was born. We'll be back for more in Indio. You're watching Ring TV Live.